Good afternoon. My name is Oscar. Could you please tell me your full name
Yeah, my name is Laura Daniela Rincon Vargas.
and what should I call you?
Lola is okay. A lot of people call me like that.
Okay, Lala. Can I check your identification?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Now, in this part of the exam, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about home. Do you live in a home, in a house, or in a flat?
I live in a house because my family is big. All my life, I have lived in a house, not in the same house because I have changed the neighborhood, but I have lived at home since I was little. An apartment, I think that an apartment will be very small.
Okay, that's okay, no worries. And who do you live with?
I live with my parents, with my two brothers that who are younger than me. My grandparents and my uncle live with me, but they live on the second floor of my house. My house has three floors and a terrace.
I'm really glad to know that you live with your family. Do you plan to live there in the future?
Yeah, of course. At least until I get married. Honestly, I have never liked living alone, and I really love my house. Although it's a bit cold, but also I love the neighborhood. I like to live with my grandparents, and they are so important for me, and that is why I plan to live there in the future.
Okay, very good. What would you change about your home?
I don't know what it has to be changed to stop being so cold, but that will change. I don't like it to be so cold, but I suppose that is normal in the first floors.
Okay, yes. Do you do most people live in houses in your country?
Well, I think that it depends on the neighborhood or city. For example, in Bogota, most people live in a flat. Obviously, there are houses, but it's more expensive. It also depends on the location or status, but in general, there are more flats.
Okay, good. Now let's talk about birthdays. Do you usually celebrate your birthday?
Yes, I do. For me, it's really important to celebrate that day. Since I have memory, I have loved surprises, and I really enjoy being with my family and my closest friends. And that is something different, like a party or to eat a different meal or something like that.
Okay, great. Can you remember a birthday you enjoyed as a child?
I don't have a very clear or exact memory, but something that I keep and I know that I like very much was a tiger stuffed animal that my dad gave me. That day, when he gave it to me, I was with my whole family and I started to cry. Today, I still have it, and I was about 5 years.
Okay, that was a long time ago. Now, which birthdays are you considered important in your country?
Mm, I think Colombia is a Catholic country, and that is why days like a Christmas or Holy Week are celebrated by most people. Even these days, there are usually holidays, and people can stay with their families celebrating these days. And also, birthdays like Halloween, Independence Days, or Workers' Days is important and celebrated.
Okay, that's great. Now, let's move on to the second part of the exam. I'm going to give you a topic, and I would like you to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you start, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you want. You understand?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so grab a pen, grab a piece of paper for writing notes, and I'm gonna share the topic in the
Okay.
screen. So this is your topic. I would like you to
Okay.
talk about a place that you have recently visited. And you
Okay.
will say where you went, who you went with, how you to got there, and explain what you enjoyed it. Okay?
Okay.
So you'll have 1 minute to do that, and I'm gonna share the timer. So give me just 1 second. And I'll share the time with you. In the meantime, you can think about it. And then we have 1 minute.
Okay.
So you ready?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So let's start.
Okay.
You've got 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so time is up.
Okay. Um, I would like.
So, can you, sorry?
No, no.
So can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. I would like to tell you about Medellin. This place is very important to me because it was the first time that I had a family trip away from Bogota, and I went to Medellin 2 years ago. I went with my parents and my two brothers. We went there because my brothers had a soccer championship, and we were there for 3 weeks in the house of one of my best friends. And he lives in Bogota, but his parents live in Medellin. So when I told him about my trip, he took with his parents, and they offered us their house, so we stayed there. And it was very good because the house was very near to the championship place. And when we went to see the match, we went walking, and we can meet many places. I love this place because people are kind. Weather was perfect for me in general. The climate of the city is beautiful. Even public transport is good, and you can feel the energy of others, and that energy is so cool. I enjoyed this beautiful city because I was with my family, because my brothers won the championship, and we were disconnected from the routine and rest in a different place, like different people. Anyway, if I could change the city to live, I will live in Medellin. Definitely, Medellin was a beautiful place to visit or to live.
All right, that sounds great. And you have some seconds to go regarding the 2 minutes that you had to talk about this topic. Now, Would you like to go back again to the same place?
Yeah, of course. Medellin is a beautiful city. People are really friendly. I love the metro. I think it's one of the best transport after the bicycle. The weather is perfect for me. It's not very cold like Bogota, but it's not very hot like Barranquilla. It's so cool, and I love the city.
All right, that's great. Now, we've been talking about a place you have recently visited, and I would like to ask you some more general questions related to the topic. First of all, let's talk about traveling. Why do some people prefer to travel abroad rather than in their own country?
Mm, I think people see easier to travel in their own country,
Mhm.
and at any moment people could go there. But travel abroad is more difficult and more expensive. It's like more a distant dream, and also
Okay.
it is because for there a high influence of on people of or media. Sometimes people know and have seen places abroad, but they don't know about places of their own country.
Okay. And do you think it is good for children to experience life in a foreign country?
No, no, really, because for example, when I was 5 years old, I went with my family to Villavicencio to visit my grandma. But I remember that because there are a lot of photos, not because I remember exactly that moment. I think it is good if children are in a foreign country for more of 1 year. Um, Maybe because they can learn other languages, and nowadays it is so important. But if it's only for holidays, I think it's not really good. They won't remember much, I think.
Okay, I see your point. So, how have holidays changed over the past few decades?
Nowadays people have holidays very occasionally. People work hard and have a little free time. But in this decade, i I can see that there are more facilities to travel and have holidays. For example, there are a credit cards, so even there are people who don't have money to have
Mhm.
holidays, but there are other methods to get it.
Okay. Do you think it is safer to travel now than in the past?
Yeah, now there are more control and more security systems. Personally, I think the technology has somehow made the world stop being so big. And when we travel with a cell phone, for example, we feel a little bit of security because we have a way of communicating. Technology in general has provided us many things, but I think one of those is the safety to travel.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.